right now at 5. For the second time this year, President Obama and Cuban leader Raul Castro meet.
To be able to have normal relations, the blockade or embargo that has caused damages and hardships to the Cuban people and affects the interests of American citizens should be lifted.
Tonight, what was on the table as they discuss the historic change in U.S.-Cuba relations.
And certainly no shortage of topics for these two men to discuss. The embargo, not the only demand being made by the Cuban leader, Raul Castro.
Yeah, it's all part of the ongoing effort to normalize relations between the U.S. and Cuba. As part of the historic change, CBS 4's Ted Scouten is live tonight in New York City with more on the meeting. Hi, Ted.
Hi, Ruta and Rick. Well, you know, years ago it would be unheard of for a U.S. president to sit down with a Cuban leader. Well, that is exactly what happened today, right back there at the UN building here in New York City. President Obama sitting down with Raul Castro, both men making a case to end the embargo.
Okay, guys.
It's all smiles in the photo op between President Obama and Cuban leader Raul Castro. They posed for pictures before sending the media out and starting closed-door talks.
Thank you. Thank you. If you please exit the same door you came in.
The two are talking face-to-face for the second time this year after beginning to normalize relations between the two countries. They've already opened embassies and relaxed travel rules. But Castro's foreign minister said the Cuban leader wants more from the U.S. and told the president during their meeting.
For Cuba and the United States to be able to have normal relations, the blockade or embargo that has caused damages and hardships to the Cuban people and affects the interests of American citizens should be lifted.
And he said Castro wants the U.S. to give back Guantanamo.
And the territory occupied by the U.S. naval base in Guantanamo should be returned to Cuba.
President Obama has already said he supports ending the embargo, saying it hasn't worked in 50 years. Congress will have to vote on that. The White House put out a statement saying, in part, President Obama highlighted U.S. regulatory changes that will allow more Americans to travel to and do business with Cuba. It went on to say the president underscored that continued reforms in Cuba would increase the impact of U.S. regulatory changes. While the U.S. president reaffirmed his support for human rights in Cuba, Castro argued the U.S. embargo is violating the rights of Cubans.
It's a massive, gross and systematic violation of the human rights of all Cuban families and Cuban citizens.
Now, the embargo will come up again on October 27th. That's when Cuba, for the 24th time, will make an amendment or ask the UN to condemn the U.S. for the embargo, and likely, for the 24th time, it will pass. Live at the United Nations in New York City, Ted Scouten, CBS 4 News.
Ted, thank you very much.